Okay, in this video we are going to see what is one-sided limits. As a definition, let f be defined on some open interval AC. Then we say the limit of f of x as x approaches to a from positive side equal to L. We read this a plus as x approaches to from a positive side. It means that f of x is approaches to L as x approaches to a from positive side, or it is close to a with x greater than a. We see for the value of x that is greater than a. That means when we approach from a positive side or from the right side of a limit. For example, if it is the graph is, for example, here, if a is here, then it means when x is approached to from the right side, or from this one is positive side and this one is negative side. So for a approach to from positive side, as x more approach and nearer to a from positive side, what will be the value of f of x? If it is L, then we write f of x, the limit of f of x as x approaches to a from positive side is L. The same way, we say that the limit of f of x as x approaches from a negative side is equal to L if f of x approaches to L as x nearer and nearer to a from negative side, or we see for x less than a. And we said that L is left hand side limit of f at x equal to a. Okay. Basically, when we say the limit of f of x as x approaches to a, we mean that the value of f, what is the value of f of x when x is approached to a from both negative and positive side, or from both left and right hand sides. If a limit existed, then from both negative and positive side, it must be approached to the same value L for a limit to be existed. This is important. Okay. Let's do some exercises using some graphs. For example, this is a piecewise functions graph. It have some holes, it have some jump discontinuity, and also it have some holes here. For these functions, we need to determine what will be the limit value from left and right hand side at each discontinuity points. Here at -4 there is a hole, so let's determine the limit from as x approaches from this negative side, this f of x approaches to this two hole. That means it will approach to this value, that is 2. So from negative side it will be 2. From positive side, as we approach from positive side, that means -4 from this one, when we approach this, then f of x approaches to this one. So finally, when we nearer and nearer to -4, it will be this value again. The limit value will be 2. Therefore, the limit of f of x as x approaches to -4 is 2, because it has the same value of when we approach it from left and right hand sides. Okay. For -1, I mean for x equal to 2, this point, the limit from negative side, that means from negative side, when we approach from negative side, f of x approaches to this value. Finally, at x equal to 2, when we are much nearer and nearer, f of x will be this value, so it will be 4. What about from positive side? That means when we approach from right side from this 2, then f of x is nearer and nearer to this value. This value is negative 2. So from positive side it is negative 2, and from positive side, negative side, it is 4, and from positive side it will be approached to negative 2. Therefore the limit doesn't exist. The limit doesn't exist because it have no the same value when we approach from right and from left hand sides. Then the limit does not exist. Okay, what about this 6? For x equal to 6, from negative side, when we approach from negative side, this f of x approach to this value, therefore it will be 5. And from positive side, when we approach nearer and nearer, again we are approached to the same value of this one. It also is 5, therefore its limit value is 5. However, if you see, this f is defined at x equal to 6 by 2. At 6, it have a value of 2, but the limit value is 5. Therefore, for a function, it may have a limit value that have differed from f defined at that point. Anyway, this is how we find the limit from right and left hand sides of a limit. This is graphical expressions. What about mathematically? Mathematically, for example, for these functions radical x plus 5 as x approaches to negative 5, at exactly negative 5 we know that negative 5 plus 5 is 0, but what is its limit value from positive and from negative side? From positive side, it means from positive side we mean that if negative 5 is here, from positive side is when we approach from this side. So from this right hand side, when we approach to negative 5, for example, when we make it minus 4.9, minus 4.99, what will be this value? This function value will be minus 4.99 plus 5, it will be 0.001. So it will be radical of 0.01, 0.0001, 0.0001. So it will be much nearer and nearer to 0 as x approaches to negative 5 from positive sides. So then we say that the limit of radical x plus 5 as x approaches to negative 5 from positive side is 0. What about from negative side? From negative side, for example, from negative side, it means from this side. So, for example, minus 5.01, minus 5.0.001, minus 5.0.0001, and so on. When we make it nearer and nearer to negative side, from minus 5 from negative side, then when we plus 5, it will be minus 0.01, minus 0.0001, minus 0.0001, and so on. So it will be much nearer and nearer to 0, but it have negative values. That means minus 0.0001. Nevertheless, of the smallness of the number, it is still negative number. Radical of negative number is undefined. Therefore, from negative side, it have undefined solution because it doesn't exist since the radical of negative number is undefined. Therefore, since the limit doesn't exist, since the limit from negative side doesn't exist, though the limit from positive side existed, we call the limit of radical x plus 5 as x approaches to negative 5 is undefined. So these functions radical x plus 5 have only right hand side limit, or it is 100 one-sided limit. Okay, let's do some other examples. For example, 1 over x. For 1 over x, when we approach from negative side, for example, minus 0.00001, for example, so it will be 1 over, for example, minus 0.1, it will be minus 10. 1 over minus 0.01, it will be minus 100. Minus 0.01, it will be minus 1000. What about 0.001? It will be minus infinite number. So as we approach x from negative side, we make it much larger number, because 1 over small negative number, it will be negative infinity. The same way, from positive side, when we make 0.00001, it will be positive number. So 1 over small number will be positive infinity. Therefore, from negative side and from positive side, they are not equal. It is negative infinity and positive infinity. Since they are not the same, they have no the same value, then the limit does not exist. For those kinds of functions, there are also other examples. For example, ln x. Ln x have right hand limit but no left hand limit, because there is no ln of 0.0001. So as x approaches to from 0 from negative side, it is undefined, but from positive side it is defined. So functions like ln x, functions like 1 over x, and so on have no limit value as x approaches to 0, but they have right or left hand limits. Anyway, this is the way how to find left and right hand limit of functions, and what do you mean by 100 side limits. It's enough for today. We'll continue on continuity of a function on the next class. For now, it's enough. Goodbye.